So quiet. So quiet. Good evening, everyone. Welcome. My name is Jessie Dela Cruz, and I am one of the fortunate people to get to work at Denver Public Library and to bring in these amazing authors and performers and to support the important work of the Denver Public Library. Thanks for joining us tonight. I want to start by saying it's really good to see you all here in the same room together, and that doesn't feel small right now during this time. Before we begin, I want to thank you all, the Denver voters, and to the initiatives like Strong Library, Strong Denver, along with funding from Elevate Denver and the RISE bonds. Through your support, programs like this and spaces like this exist. So there's something a city chooses to invest in. So truly, thank you for showing up for your library. So tonight is special for us because this is our very first program of the AfterWord Residency. This series came from a question I kept returning to: what actually happens to a story after we finish it? Because a story just doesn't end at a page. It often lingers, and it shifts, and it settles somewhere in the body. Sometimes it even changes shape and space. And so this series is an invitation to follow that, to see what happens when a story moves from another form into sound, into image, and into something you feel differently than you read. So tonight isn't just about a book, and it's not just about music, it's about what happens in between. And I'll say personally, the book Open Throat was one of my favorite books I read in 2025. I have to give a shout out to my 12-year-old daughter, Cleo, who's watching this live stream. She loves this book and Henry Hoke. So she's a fangirl. But yeah, this book really stayed with me, and I kept thinking about all of the magical pieces, plays, productions, music, and things that can happen. And Henry's book kind of inspired this series. So thank you, Henry. And so I want to also introduce our two artists, our two creatives. Henry Hoke is the author of Open Throat. Along with several other books, his work plays with voice and perspective in ways that feel both unexpectedly deeply human. Open Throat, in particular, gives us a vantage point just outside ourselves, watching the human world from its edges. And joining him will be Tom Hagerman. Tom Hagerman is a Denver-based musician, composer, and multi-instrumentalist, and a core member of DeVotchKa, whose music is known and well-loved beyond this city. And his work moves across genres and collaborations, working with artists like Nico Case, the Lumineers, and Nathaniel Rateliff, as well as symphonies and performance spaces here in Denver and beyond. Tom will be joined by musicians Evan and Nadia, who are his bandmates in his other project, Grand Orchestre Navarre. So we'll begin with a reading from Henry, then move into Tom's performance, and then we'll bring them both together for a conversation. We will open up for questions using Slido. So we'll have a QR code on the screen, and you guys can scan it. You could put in your question, and then as a community, we crowdsource what questions we actually want them to answer. And so with that, I want to introduce you to Henry Hoke. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for coming out this evening. It's lovely to be in Denver. Thank you, Jesse. This is a fantastic program, and I'm really excited to be part of the launch of it. It's really an honor to have a musician like Tom respond to my work. This is a book about a queer mountain lion in Los Angeles, but it's mainly and chiefly, at least from how I wrote it perspective, a book about listening. Which I don't always realize I'm very good at until I'm writing a book. And I'm like, oh, I really retained a lot from this strange world of ours. So I'm going to read a little bit from the book to give you a sense of things. And, really, I've told you all you need to know already. When I wake up, I hear the last of the day's hikers passing my thicket. Two girls with huge water bottles that bounce the sunlight through the branches and into my eyes. It's not easy to sleep on an empty stomach, but I guess I did okay. One girl says, God, I can't believe it's dark already. I know, we have to starting earlier, says the other. She takes a sip from her bottle and says, no matter how much I say no and cancel stuff, there's still no time. And the first girl says, that's just your scarcity mentality. You have to work on that. Yeah, I just, I don't like change, says the second girl. And the first girl says, of course, but we all live in scarcity under capitalism. So we all have to make an effort to deprogram a scarcity mentality as like our central driving force. Their voices get lower and then I can't hear them anymore and I yawn and stretch my paws out and their water bottles vanish with their bodies in the sunset. I shouldn't be here and neither should they. Now that the hikers are gone, I leave my thicket and go down into the dry ravine where lots of water used to flow, and I eat bugs and suck at the little trickles to make my thirst less. I remember the last rain, and I remember I wasn't happy about it, but now I know how long it's been since. Now I need water to come from the sky or anywhere else. I need more than a dirty sip. I think of the girl hikers and the shiny bottles they gulp out of, and I paw the dirt for more caterpillars and eat them, and I know I have to find somewhere new to drink. Things are changing. A while ago, I wouldn't fantasize about eating a person. What the girl said makes sense. I'm not sure what a scarcity mentality is, but I have it. Here is called different things by different people. Mostly they say LA, but they also say the park or Hollywood. I hear that word a lot. I know I live below the Hollywood sign because the hikers say, oh, look, we're below the Hollywood sign. And they say, can we get all the way up there? And they ask, which letter would you jump off? I've been up there at night, but the lights come on and it's too exposed, so I stay down here where I am now. Views don't matter to me anyway. The hikers say things like, look at that view, or say things like, we have to do this more often, get up here and get perspective. What they see makes them point or stop and turn and put their hands on their hips and breathe deep, but the distance they love is an out-of-focus blur when I try to look where they're looking. All I can see is what's right in front of me. I have trouble sleeping in the twisted trees because there are so many hikers who go by and talk loud all day. They talk about how no one in LA has real jobs, but from what they describe as real jobs, I don't think they have them either. LA is a mecca for the underemployed, they say. To be employed, they need skills. They say to each other, you've got so many marketable skills. I go over my skills. My skills are hiding so long that you forget I'm there, watching and listening until I memorize your habits and your language, but killing is my job. A big lizard crawls by and I smash its head against a rock and swallow half of it. That's trauma too, that's the trauma talking, says a girl on a phone. It's all trauma. She goes silent and she stuffs her phone into a bag hanging from her shoulder, and when she pulls her arm out, a piece of green paper flutters to the ground behind her. I know the paper is important because I've seen people drop it before and they say shit, and they run and grab it and they say that was close. The trauma girl doesn't do any of that. She doesn't even notice that it fell, and she keeps going, and I wait, and the moon appears above me. I jump down and pick up the paper in my teeth. I try to taste its importance. Nothing. I return to the twisted trees, and the path below is busy again. I'm kind of a poet, says some boy kid to another boy kid he's holding hands with. When they ask, what are you, says the kid, my mind goes right to poet, because I don't ever make the obvious choice. I make the deep choice. I want to claim that title, poet, ha ha ha. I watch their hands while they walk away. I think I'm kind of a poet, because when I finally find a deer left behind by a herd, its legs broken and stuck in a rock, even though I know I shouldn't, know it'll make the meat spoil quicker, I eat the heart first. Rest tries to find me, but the non-stop voices of the passing hikers find me instead. Yeah, I can't wait to see you, a man says into wires that hang from his ears. So let's not wait, right? With every step we take, with what you do when you hang up and when you dream, you're moving closer to me, and I'm doing the same. We're not waiting, right? Not sitting, standing, and waiting. We're constantly traveling in time together till we get to be together again. There's something wrong with my ears. I can't shut them like I can shut my eyes. More and more voices come, and I stop looking to see where they're all coming from. We don't have earthquake insurance, they say, but we've always got a go bag packed in case fire comes down the mountain. They don't know where they are. They keep changing the name. Is it LA, or is it Beechwood, or is it the Canyon, or is it Scare City? They call everything a disaster. I stare at the trees because the trees don't talk. This is not a big deal, they all say, but only before they say other things. This is not a big deal, but the car is going to need more work than they thought. This is not a big deal, but he ghosted me. Whatever, he's ugly and all his friends suck. This is not a big deal, but right now I need you to listen to me. They say, I can't believe it's almost the 4th and I still don't have a check from him. I've been looking at the mailbox every single day. And they say, you know what the definition of insanity is? Doing the same thing over and over. And they say, yeah, but checking the mail? They say, ni modo, and then they say it again. They say fame is a real killer. All I did was one commercial, and now I get recognized and shouted at. God, I need to go back to being nobody. They say, yeah, of course the project is gay. Everything is gay now. Everything is gay now. It's all gay. Everything is gay now. They say, no, I'm not going to tell her. I want to devour their sound. I have so much language in my brain and nowhere to put it. The smell of easy prey wakes me. What I see when I open my eyes isn't something to eat. It's two slow people withered and wrapped in layers of clothing. One is hunched over the other, and the other staggers and helps him up the trail. It's sweet, but unappetizing. I can smell their death coming at me through the woods. Is this what the coyotes smell when they circle? What my father smelled on me? What made him want to snap my neck in his jaws or beat my head on the ground? Was I a threat or just on my way out? My skin is starting to get loose, and some of my fur drags and tugs on things it didn't drag or tug on before. It's okay. Old is fine. I'm old because I'm not dead. Something explodes above me. The sun's already set, but this brings the day back white and blinding in the black sky. There are cheers rising from down below, like all of LA is making this happen, like the people forgot how dry my life is. And they do it again and again. More explosions and cheers and less night. I look down to stop my eyes from hurting, but the light doesn't go anywhere, and now the bursts are in my ears too. I hear the sky crackle and fall down around me. All I feel is fire danger. This is too much. The shudder inside becomes unbearable. I can't eat everything I'm afraid of. On quiet midnights back in the caves, I could almost imagine that all the people were gone. Canyons cleared of their footsteps and voices and cars, the long deaths standing still, trees expanding and their green swallowing the buildings and returning the original smells, returning what's needed. I could see myself leaving the park and walking through an empty LA, slow and safe with all the other animals, back to the deep forest and the forever water and the sun setting. People can't see it, but I can. Their end makes everything okay. Scare City isn't Scare City with no one around to say its name. Thank you. And I'm so excited to call Tom and Evan and Nadia up to the stage to perform.
Henry told me backstage not to say any disclaimers or any self-deprecating anything. So can't hear you. I said, which one is this for? Hello? Right here. Okay. I was going to say, or I am saying, that Henry told me backstage not to say anything self-deprecating or any disclaimers, but I'm just going to say one, which is that this thing is not yet 24 hours old and that we rehearsed this for the first time 2 hours ago. So thank you. More later. Is this where we chat?
Oh my gosh. Throw these on the ground. Great. I like them being, in the visual a little. Beautiful detritus from that. Wow.
Thanks.
I know they do. Yeah. Get a little. Let me put one here. Let's just do this. There we go. Perfect. It's very. Sorry. All right. So that pseudo non-disclaimer was quite a flex.
Well,
Oh my.
it's totally true. I just was like,
Yes.
I didn't really know. It's like, it's really difficult to interpret words, like musically, I think, without words. And it's funny because I was actually gonna, the first line of the book is, like, I've never eaten a person.
But today I might.
Yeah, and I was actually, because I knew, Nadia's this amazing singer, and she's always a secret weapon. And we play in another band together frequently, but like I knew, like none of you guys knew that she would sing, and it works really well. But I was gonna try to do that. I had a whole section where she was like singing that line, but it was just like kind of cheesy. It wasn't working.
I appreciate the edit.
Well, yeah.
Because that was just wordlessly, it was phenomenal.
Thanks.
And I do think, there's something about this book, even not what I just read, but a little bit of like inexpressibility, right? Not being able to speak. And so I think that was a wise choice. Thank you. But just that moment was incredible because I wasn't expecting it. I don't know if any of us were.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. Right. I guess I feel like this is just an amazing thing. So thank you, Jesse. And thank you, Denver Public Library.
Yeah. Thanks a lot. I'm serious. I was like, well, I walked in here. I did not know this facility existed, and then I'm sorry. I'm like really. I feel really casual.
Yeah.
Next
please.
to you, Henry. You look beautiful. I just, I wish I had dressed up a little bit more, and I threw on this shirt, and I was like, this shirt looks like a garbage bag, and so now I'm back to my t-shirt.
Okay, but what are you wielding? You're wielding these gorgeous stringed instruments and an accordion.
Well,
that brings the flair. That brings that. Thank you. Okay, so I guess just this book materialized over 5 years ago for me, and out of something, out of a long 11 years in Los Angeles with a lot of things going on in my body and my life, and became this book. And then the fact that you have interpreted it into this piece of music tonight, I don't know, I just feel very overwhelmed and grateful. And I think I just want to hear about your process a little bit.
Sure, yeah. So, okay, let me grab my iPad actually, because I didn't write anything down that I was going to say, but I have these little cues. So,
This is very,
so
very flattering. I'm sorry. It's very cool.
So I was trying to think. Well, the first thing I kind of wrote was actually the bit Nadia was singing, and it's funny because there's a piece, Carnival of the Animals, which you guys probably know. I'm sure most of you know, but there's a lion theme, and it goes like da dun 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 ba da dun dun ba da 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 dun dun dun. And actually, I wrote that down, and then, but I wanted something kind of like a it's a mountain lion, but like kind of a proud lion. For many reasons, but just this kind of a theme, but it's a little bit sad and wistful. So that was kind of the first thing that happened, but I really wanted to incorporate these sounds. So the initial schmear, glissando, and the snap was supposed to be a whip of I don't know how many read the book, but there's a whip at the beginning. And then after that, the pizzicato, the pulses that keep coming back, in my mind were almost like a heartbeat, but the mountain lion keeps talking about a vein. So like a pulse, I kind of, and then I can't help it. I just, I needed to make it more melodic because people tend to like melody a little bit. Usually, sometimes not. I mean, it works really well to not have melody, but I did that. I just went into these themes a little bit. So initially, I mean, there's these really tender moments in the book about, the mother and a lot of the sort of nonsensical chatter, I think, that the humans are always talking about, that this animal is relating to, which, I found really interesting. There's a great it's not Tom and Jerry, I think it's Looney Tunes, when Tweety Bird is like under this, like a glass covering, and he's talking to a mouse. And there's a thing where you can do on string instruments. I didn't do it. Well, it goes like this. Sorry, I'm getting it. So Tweety would like go, and then the mouse would like laugh. And then the other one maybe would be, they would all laugh. I didn't do that. But I wanted to do that. I was like trying so hard to stick that in because these like people keep chatting in this book, and it's like most of it is just banal, like LA, like these people from LA, which we all love people from LA.
Thank you.
My singer in our band lives there, and I love him. I do. He's very great. He's a great guy. In all seriousness, missed the flight at the last gig, so I'm a little salty. Anyways, is that going on Instagram? So anyways, the vein, and then so then it gets a little bit more aggressive, and there's a father and like sort of these not nice people, this guy's like sets fire to like an unhoused sort of tent camp, and then we come to the highway, which is supposed to be these big schmears that are happening, and then a fire is all the crackly stuff, and then I kind of went off on this carousel thing because I just wanted to put the accordion thing. So that like they come to a zoo, and so this is when Nadia and Evan are trying to make these animal sounds on their instruments, and then the carousel thing, I was trying to make like a carousel sort of music in my mind. If it were like scored, then he's like he eats this bird that has a name, and I forgot the name.
It's a koala.
Right. Is it a bird? I can't remember.
A koala bear.
A koala bear. Yeah, right. Right. I thought that
Named Kiki.
Yeah, Kiki the koala bear. Okay, yeah, so there's a bird.
We're getting deep into the plot now. It's a pivotal moment for our cat.
Well, there's all these big birds and stuff.
Yes, there is a condor.
And then, but he eats the koala bear.
Yes.
And then
immediately regrets it.
Yeah, right, because it's named, right? And he's like,
they never should have named you.
Empathy. Yeah. And then the next bit is the lion theme in my mind, but it's also sort of this time when, the lion is sort of traveling and he meets the little slaughter, and it's sort of this transformation where he's like, I don't know, it feels to me like a moment of transformation a little bit, where he's kind of becoming something else maybe, and then that all ends, and it sort of slips into a sad sort of dream, and it's back to the vein and the pulse, and then it gets really aggressive, and then the end.
We won't spoil everything in case some haven't read it, but I absolutely I felt knowing the story really well, and also sometimes forgetting it. I felt this incredible arc of expression. I also felt a really wonderful, push-pull of urbanity and the natural, just in this in the the melodic and the non and the more like soundscape approach of the different sections. So I really I think that the way the sounds felt, the whip, I think of just LA and cars and like the noise of that, but then also like the sort of natural space of the lion. I don't know, it's just always there for me, having not known exactly what you were mapping, but knowing the story. Sure. And so I love what these instruments can do, like the range of what these instruments what you've done with them. I was definitely like, okay, that must be the zoo when you started playing that. Like there's a the LA Zoo has like a carousel in Griffith Park right nearby it. And I was just thinking about, there's a moment where the cat encounters a carousel and doesn't make a lot of sense.
It's a pretty
to it,
small part, actually, right?
But
But to me, it would be like, well, okay, here's the entire zoo theme, and then this lion's like going up to these other cats in cages and stuff, and
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of there's a lot of quiet in the book too, and I think that's what's cool is like these moments were concentrated around where there would be like a score. Sure. Envisioning it for me, that was really really cool. Yeah.
How did you come up with anthropomorphizing? Is that the right word?
Yeah,
an animal.
Yeah, I mean, I think. So I lived in Los Angeles for a long time, and it was a strange place for me. But during my time in LA, like I moved to this neighborhood called Los Feliz, which is like the flat. So there's some of it's in the hill, but I was on the flat part of it below Griffith Park, and it just sort of continues up into the park, up near where like the Greek Theater is, and then there's the observatory that y'all may know, and then out into Beechwood Canyon. Griffith Park is really in the middle of the greater LA, so it splits the valley from Hollywood and everything, and it's cut through by freeways. But at the same time I moved to this neighborhood, a single mountain lion crossed, single meaning on its own. There was a lot of press calling it a bachelor, which I took a little bit of issue with, but I'll talk about that in a minute. But it crossed the 405 freeway, which is a pretty remarkable thing because this is a massive freeway that divides the Santa Monica Mountains from like the whole inner LA mountain range and Griffith Park. And so it made this crossing and was living in Griffith Park. And so they spotted it. It was collared and tracked so they could keep track of it and let it roam, but be aware of it, the Park Service and the wildlife. And they found it about a year into when me and the cat lived in this neighborhood, living under a house. It had been living in the crawl space under a house for like almost a year, or just returning to that space. And so that was fascinating. And, it became a local LA celebrity, sort of larger. It got a little bit more press even than LA. It was designated P22, which just means Puma, number 22. So it was the 22nd one that they found. And it became, so there was, murals and all kinds of things. It was a kid's, like a children's illustrated book about P22. And it's because it was a big journey, and P22 became a little bit of a figure for conservation and for the idea of like building passageways for wildlife to navigate these severely encroached on natural areas. But there was also a lot of like projecting onto P22, like, oh, it's the Hollywood mountain lion, like it's the Brad Pitt of mountain lions, like it's so sad it's a bachelor, will it ever find a mate because there's no other mountain lions, and I was like, well, we don't know what it, but I thought about just what the grander alienation of this experience might be, and this wasn't something I was thinking about as much as just I was empathizing with and following the stories of the mountain lion when I lived there. But when I moved to Brooklyn, I moved back to Brooklyn, right, or New York, and moved to Brooklyn right before the pandemic. I was sort of like what I like to say, like I was cheating on another book. I was like writing this other book, and I was like hitting a wall with it, and I was like, I need to just do something else. I need to get some space from that book. I still haven't finished that book. 3 books later. But it'll always, it's my ride or die. It'll always be there for someday. It'll be my last book. But I decided to just, I heard a Nick Cave song. It's called Hollywood. And in this song, it was on his record called Ghosteen. And on this song, he talks about a cougar in the Hollywood Hills. And I was like, oh, suddenly P22 and all our time spent in the same neighborhood, came soaring back. And then I was, he also genders the cat female, which I found really fascinating because of how much of the like maleness they'd put onto P22. And because I just think of, I think especially an animal like this is beyond like our conceptions of gender. But I thought, okay, let me just see if I can write a novel from the perspective, completely a monologue as P22, as this animal. And it just became a great way for me to process all my LA time. And I was like, oh, and it just became a vessel for everything. I didn't set out to talk about like climate grief necessarily, or the apocalyptic elements of LA, like wildfires and earthquakes, and the things that you depict here, that you depicted sonically, like just like the violence of humanity. But it was all like going to come through this voice and this journey, because I felt it. I think we as Angelinos all felt it at the time, and so of course, like, this animal is going to feel it even more. And so that really was, it was the dare to do that, and I ended up writing this book in just a couple months, and it was really I don't know. I wrote a memoir right after. I was hired to I got a contract to write a memoir, and I was like, I just want to go back to being the lion. Like, that felt more true to me than like the I voice. So it was an expression of most of the things I was dealing with and concerned with. That's the journey.
Record is amazing. Like, it's funny that you mentioned that, because it, like, I don't know, there's moments, there's a lot, it's like a very somber record. It was written like sort of after his son had died, and but there's these moments that are, I don't know, the beginning sort of warbly. Not that I was thinking about Nick Cave at all, but there's all these synths in that kind of
it has this
like,
really similar, like,
I don't know. There was parts of it, and I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah, and just saying that out loud, I'm like, right, it began a little with music. Like, I think music is what initially inspires me always. So it's really cool to come full circle with your work. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. What else? What's going on? What's going on in life?
Yeah.
Things are boring out there in the world.
Oh yeah, nothing's going on at all.
It's like, it's perfect.
Oh man,
It's a perfect world. I know. I have a question for you.
Yeah.
And this isn't really about the book, but I've been thinking about this a lot with art generally, and you probably know where this is going a little bit, but the AI stuff. I'm just worried, because everything from now on, I just feel like there's a suspicion that it's like maybe music, everything, like chunks of it are gonna be written by an AI, and how does that make you feel? I mean, when you're sitting there putting so much work into something, and it's like, well, because like this New York Times thing just came out where they put these examples of writing down. They're like, well, which do you like better? And like 80% of the people chose the AI version, which is scary. I don't know. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, feel. What a loaded word. I'm staunchly anti-AI in every single way, shape, and form. I think we shouldn't use it or fall for it. Doesn't matter why. It's already a massive environmental destroyer, and it's and encroaching on communities. It's stolen from me. I mean, like, if you use any generative AI, it's stolen from me and my friends. Like, that's what it is. They took our text from they took it from open sources. Like, they took it from places that weren't verified, but now they're just getting it sold to them by publishers. And it just was, trained all these language learning, large language models. So basically, like, the theft has already happened. And so, like, it isn't, I don't know. I think the point is, like, I think we've had our consensus reality ruptured completely. And I think that's just like news or relationships or how we've all, like, we can't know that other people were around agree on the same, reality. Like, it's a very dark, strange time, right? And that's just because of how the right has destroyed people's free will and brains. But like, I think that if we can remember that, like, we can connect with each other. It is nicer to experience something in a room with other people. It is nicer to actually go into your own brain and your own mind and everything you have, because you are a large language model, Like, we are all large language models. We don't need, like, a weird Voltron, stolen one. Like, I guess I'm just thinking of, like, we all have, like, maybe a friend who, like, just regurgitates, like, Simpsons quotes or something and think that's like a sense of humor or personality. Like, and that was certainly me at some point, like in middle school or whatever. But, like, that's not our favorite friend to talk to, like. So I guess what I mean is like I think that it will be harder, like I say, consensus reality, to know like if what we're reading was like written by a person or not, or was written by a person who put it into a machine and then claimed authorship. And it's going to happen more and more. I mean, and I've talked to some students who've brought this question up, like in universities or colleges, who've just been like, I'm like, well, if I was you, like if I was in high school, I would absolutely use ChatGPT. Like I didn't want to do my work. Like I would make a robot do it. Like I think if we remember if we find ourselves using something like that, I think we all have to go to a nice long night of the soul and just say, why don't I want to do this work? Like, why is something faster or easier or like not me what I want? I guess that's what I keep encouraging people to say, like, no, like it's okay to be really bad at writing for a little bit. Like I'm certainly horrible at writing a lot, like, and it's wonderful. Like I don't want it to sound sort of pretty good, like these things make it sound, like where it's like, oh, I guess that sounds like a novel or something, I want it to sound like me, and if it's awful, that's great, and I'll work on it, or I'll just publish it. But that means so much more to me. Like I want to read everything just from an actual person, and I think, but yeah, it's a battle we're going to lose for a little while, the knowing, right, the certainty, but I think we'll get it back, and it might happen after, the robots have been destroyed and we're all just sitting around a campfire.
I'm always just
but
curious.
We have stringed instruments for that, we do. Like these aren't.
No,
yeah.
That's true. And I'm glad I can I can play these things or whatever. But yeah, it's just that like seed of doubt, like in future written anything. I've already music and stuff. I don't know, the way technology is sort of I always feel like music is sort of the canary in the coal mine a little bit with, the way streaming services work and stuff. It just, it's just like capitalism ultimately. If you like, when it comes down to it, it's like if you got to crank stuff out, it's like that stuff, that's what it's good at, just cranking shit out.
Yeah, well, no, and you certainly you were the first to fall for free, ripped off, stolen, exploited, then underpaid for streaming services. Obviously, yeah.
The thing that makes me most nervous really is just the doubt that okay, well, if I read Shakespeare, the works of Shakespeare, I know that was not written by an AI. I don't know if it was written by William Shakespeare, right? Isn't that a little bit like a...
Oh, yeah, see?
Yeah, but it wasn't written by
Still doubt.
A bot.
But well, unless they went back in time. And,
Right. Yeah, Terminator.
Which they're going to figure out how to do.
Arnold Schwarzenegger read it.
That'd be a good pitch, yes.
I don't know, just a wandering thing that is constantly in my
No, it's so important, but I think that, I was just at a music festival in Idaho, the Treefort Festival, and just to be in rooms with musicians playing live music, with people just, singing along and dancing and being present, I was like, yeah, amazing. And it was incredible, and I'm part of a theater company that someone very dear to me, my partner, is founding, and it's because theater is a space that is a little bit AI proof at the moment, not the writing of it, but I will possibly be one of the writers, so I'll try not to. No, I'll never use AI, but but the sense of gathering and sharing and meeting each other's eyes, I think, is more and more important. I think it's about empathy, it's about presence, and it's about honesty. And I think because that's what we want, I think. And I think so many people are oh, if I have a book, I'll write a book in a weekend with AI, but then I'll get to go on tour. Then I'll get to read with people, or I'll get to share it with people, or someone will read my work and we'll get to talk about it in a Discord or whatever. That's really what people want, is the connection. It forces us to want those things because it's how we survive. And we're not supported in this country as artists on any baseline. So we're completely free to be exploited at every moment, right? So I have such respect for musicians and all that y'all have, every era that y'all have gone through. And the fact that now it's happening to book, right? People weren't stealing books exactly like they were stealing music. It's just a different marketplace. But now people are all the books got stolen and it's all being used. And so it's kind of wild. And I think that, I don't know, I'm so grateful for tonight. This is incredible. We're going to take a few questions from the audience, I believe. But just, let's give it up for Tom and the musicians another time.
Thanks, Evan and Nadia.
This is a true, in-person affirmation. Yeah. So how do we do this? No rush. Sorry, I don't mean to be. Sweet. Is there some kind of like robot that could help me with this? Are we going to use AI right now? No. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
This is not AI. It's democratic.
If you guys want to just scan the QR code up there, or you can go to slido.com and enter the room code, and then we'll start having questions pop up here in just a minute. But
Great.
yeah, go ahead and join in there.
Yeah, it's good. Sure. Thank you.
I feel pretty awkward all the time, so it's no problem.
I wouldn't have written this book if I felt anything but awkward. Yeah.
So you're seeing the questions start to pop up here on screen. Just for anyone kind of looking at them, if you want to hear that question read, give it a thumbs up. It'll be brought up to the top. We'll give a couple more moments here to
It's
let
my
those
first
kind
time
of
with this
filter.
particular program, so it's exciting. I'm going to kind of tune out this part of it. But what a great room. Congrats.
All right, looks like we're getting a pretty steady starting question of what are you both reading and recommending?
I'll let the author.
No, you go first.
Okay.
Please.
I mean, my brain is rotted like all of America's, but it's interesting. Actually, the last book that I read fully is this George Saunders book called Fox 8. Do you know this book? And it's interesting because I just read that, and then Jesse emailed me, and it's like sort of about this fox, right? That's like really fascinated with this family, and he's like enamored, and he like kind of loves his family, I think. And then he's learning how to write, and so the spelling of it is like as if a fox had learned how to spell, so the spelling's really bad, but it's really sweet, like this sweet fox. It's a great book though, you should read it. But I don't want to give it away, actually. You should read it.
Yeah, it's like sort of an illustrated edition. So it's like a short story by George Saunders. Yeah.
So that's my recommendation.
Yeah, really cool book, especially if you like open throat. There's some similarities. I've just come from a literary festival, so I've like gotten a lot of new favorite writers just from people I saw read at the Tree Fort, Story Fort, like a guy named Julian Martinez from Chicago is just a really exciting writer who has like a lot of stuff online. Look up Julian Martinez. He's got published in a lot of really cool journals. Just a great just a beautifully immediate sort of speculative autofiction writer. These short pieces of expressing his own experiences a little bit, but with this strange twist on them. And he'll have a book coming out early next year. Actually, his publisher offered him the book deal at this festival, live, a proposal. It was one of the most heartwarming things I've ever seen in the world of letters. That was amazing. A lot of my friends have great books coming out this year. I'll rattle some off. Whidbey by T. Kara Madden just came out. It's really a beautifully intense ride, but one of the most ambitious books, truly ambitious on a level of empathy and character. Highly recommend that one. But massive content warnings. But it'll take you on the ride. It's not just leaving you to deal with it. And then Ali Rowbottom, a great writer, has a book called Lovers XXX coming out that will also have every content warning in the entire world. What does Nick Cage say in The Rock? I don't read soft ass shit. So, sorry. But yeah, those are just two of my favorite writers who have books coming out this year. Patrick Cottrell, a Denver area writer, has a book coming out called Afternoon Hours of the Hermit, sort of a continuation of his previous book, Sorry to Disrupt the Peace. And that's coming out in a couple weeks. It's going to be fantastic. So those are some hard recommends. Yeah.
All right, next question up at the top is, where is your favorite place to harvest random conversations?
I love the word harvest. Do you harvest random conversations?
I don't really do that. No, I'll let you take that one.
Are you an eavesdropper, I guess?
I try not to.
Or do you try to sort of tune it out?
Yeah, I just...
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm...
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny. I sort of vacillate. Sometimes I'm really tuning out. I don't usually write in public. I get a little quiet. I write at home in my quiet caves. because I tend to like have to work pretty hard to not listen to people. This was actually, like a lot of this was gleaned, a lot of Open Throat was gleaned from actual hikes of just passing people. Also just being in LA somewhat, but in New York, especially when I was younger, like the idea of passing people and getting just the tiniest morsel of their conversation, like the thing of like you're at a cafe and you hear like quite a bit of someone's conversation always feels a little intense to me. Like my partner really can't not eavesdrop on things and will tell me like the whole saga of the table next door, and I'm like, weren't we talking? Like I went to go to the bathroom and I'd find out like, oh wow, but yeah, so just I think those little passing things have been really valuable to me because then I can like fill in a lot. But also and I tell my students this, especially when I was teaching playwriting and dramatic writing, of just like hearing how people talk. Like this book works really hard to do that. Like I thought of each little bit as like I could write a whole play about each one of these characters that just you get one line from. So that's how richly I tried to imagine them and their little milieu and like what was happening all around what they're saying. Like I knew everything and I didn't care if the audience knew any, if my readers knew any of it, but I did. And so part of it is like, like you just hear how they say it and the way that they combine words and those language signatures of how we speak. That's always been really fascinating to me. I have a book I've written that will come out sometime, but it's like mostly just a dialogue between two people. And so I was just like loving just having how those two people talk. And like as they talk, it's like about like an hour and a half of them talking, maybe longer. But it's like this experience of like they start to talk, they start to both comment on their own ways of speaking toward each other, and then also just assume each other's ways of speaking, right? So like they get too enmeshed in like the same rhythm and stuff. So that was just really fun to work on. But yeah, I guess that's like I like not getting whole content, just those morsels that inspire me to make the rest myself. Yeah.
I'm good at not commenting on the harvesting.
Next question, Henry, how did you decide what words and concepts the cat sort of understood and the ones he didn't?
Yeah, so it was what was poetic to me, I think. Because there's part of it, it's like there's this listening that you get a certain amount of, okay, so I will compare it in a way to Fox 8, which is its own cool little story, but like it does really hard to work on the phonetics, like misspelling and stuff. But I think for me, I was like, well, the suspension of disbelief is already so massive that I'm just going to use what feels deep to me and what like almost I don't understand. So like, I only have a few things that are actually like misunderstandings. The rest of the stuff is like, efficient words. There are words that I think of as like deeper, or like Hecate, the cat, refers, that's what I call my cat. Hecate refers to the highway, the freeway, as the long death. And to me, that was because like that's like the evocation that's passed down from all animals, like this thing, So like Hecate wouldn't replace it with like a more efficient human word, But then all these, so that was sort of like, that was fun. The idea of scarcity as a place instead of scarcity, that just really hit me, like the way I felt about it, because I think we were us living in scarcity, but we, I don't know, it feels like a place, right? It feels like it's just this terrain we inhabit and have to manage and navigate. And so that was the one that I really kept moving through. There's also just phonetic spellings. There was also my first editor, my partner who reads my work first, we talked about this, and I was like, well, it's not that important to me because people are going to be going this journey and they're either going to come with me or they're not, and that's cool. And I'm so happy so many have come with me. But it was like, there's a part where it says that, but I don't have that word yet. And so I sort of wanted to play with that. Like Hecate talks about a reflection and says, but I don't have that word yet. And then later in the book, Hecate is introduced to a reflection. So we sort of play with this idea of like, yeah, we're not sure when this is coming from. Like how many more years of human listening and how many cohabitations. There's a cohabitation experience in this book that I won't spoil for those who haven't read it. You alluded to it a little bit. But it's like, but that's where Hecate is learning a lot of words. And a lot of concepts, and so it sort of reflects back. So that was sort of it was not something I cared that much about, but the parts I cared about, I cared a lot about, if that makes sense. Where it mattered, I made it really matter, and everything else, I was like, you know what, like all writing, all fiction is like, it's kind of a dare and kind of a flight of fantasy. So I'll let it not be too exacting, or I'll just get bored or overwhelmed. If it had to be like what a cat would actually understand, we wouldn't have a book, Yeah. It's about me.
Another one. Can you talk us through your decision to have the cat dream about Disneyland?
Yeah, so that doesn't spoil too much. There is a Disneyland dream. The cohabitation experience is someone who enjoys Disney, so Disney is described at length to the cat, and the cat imagines what that might be like to go. I think the decision is straight up that it's an LA book. I was like, we're up in Griffith Park, we're 32 miles away or whatever, but we got to go to Disney, somehow. And then I was like, oh, we're really gonna go, and that was a tribute to my signif, who is like a Disney fan, and I became a bit of a Disney enjoyer, and some other people. The writer Kate Durbin, who's just a phenomenal poet and performance artist, and she is a Disney enthusiast on a really deep and interesting level. Like always sort of dripped out in Disney wear. Most of the time when I see her, like cool limited stuff, and she just appreciates it in a way that is unique. And she's from Southern California, and so it's sort of always been like adjacent to her life. But she's the first person I talked about this cat book idea with. So I wanted to sort of tribute to her too by doing like a robust Disney thing. And the Disney part is very authentic because I have been to Disney quite a bit, and I have enjoyed being
spent
Disney.
3 months working at Disney World, and I'll tell you, it's not the happiest place on
Oh
earth.
man, can you please tell me more about that? What was your role?
Well, it was like in 1997. It was this college orchestra thing. It was called the 1997 Disney Grammy All-American Collegiate Orchestra, and we played at Epcot.
Oh my
Center.
God, that was you. Just kidding.
Yeah. Played at Epcot Center every day, like 4 shows a day. I don't remember getting any days off because on the weekends they'd bring in stars like Tony Tennille. Who did we have? The trumpeter guy. Da 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 da. Chuck Mangione. Yeah, Chuck Mangione. I don't know. Anyways, I remember we would get to go to the park early and stuff, which was awesome. But it was just like I just saw so many parents just like beating their kids and just like crying children, and it wasn't like they were purposely beating their kids. It was just like that. It's just like expensive and the lines are long and just everyone's like. I mean, and it's funny because I was at that age where it was just like you're just seeing all the negative stuff, right? Like, like I'm not.
You were over it.
I was over life,
like,
I think.
yeah,
I shouldn't have been because it was amazing.
Oh, I get it.
I'm sure it was amazing, and I hate myself. I hate my younger self for not appreciating.
This is a novel. I love this. You gotta. That's so wonderful, and I think I incorporated the idea of like the alienation of a place like Disneyland, like the expectation versus the reality, and and like something I stole for this book from a friend of mine. He was describing the ride Splash Mountain, R.I.P. It's now something else, thankfully, but he was describing it as that animal torture water ride, and I was like, that is the best way of it, because you think about people who like don't care that much about Disney, like the way they would describe things is just phenomenal. So yeah, animal torture water. So in this I have like watching animals be tortured because that's what Hecka is experiencing, this idea of Splash Mountain, but yeah, just being, that's wild. Like you were an inhabitant of Disney World. You were you were a cast member basically.
Yeah, we were technically, but they stuck us in these trailers in Kissimmee, Florida. It was like a trailer park. I mean, it was great. It was like a paid gig. Like all my friends went to the Aspen Music Festival, and I went to Disney World. And I was like, I mean, that's pretty fitting, I think, actually, in a lot of ways where I ended up. But yeah, I don't know. It was actually a really amazing experience, but I remember just like walking around, just like, it was not like lots of unhappiness there.
When you're there all the time, you start to see the cracks.
Yeah, I saw like those Mickey smoking cigarettes. And
Oh
stuff.
yeah,
I don't think it was really Mickey, but
I've always been fascinated by that, but I think it's just culturally undeniable. I think we all have something of Disney in us, and like just like microplastics. Like. In fact, almost all those microplastics probably originated with the Disney Corporation. So I think we're all sort of like, we carry it with us, But I love that. I love the DNA of that. So we sort of all, that was here tonight too. Yeah. Can we take one more question?
Yes. Next one up at the top is there or will there be an audiobook? And Mr. Hoke, will you read it?
Oh, there is an audiobook. It's incredible. Yeah, and it's read by Pete, this friend of mine who's an incredible voice. He did Moby Dick too, so quite a range of animal books. But yes, please go check out the audiobook. I think you can listen to it on for free, and you can listen to the audiobook, and it's really cool. And there's a really beautiful musical sting in it. I hadn't listened all the way through for a while because it's a lot for me. But yeah, there's some really cool little musical touches throughout, and or especially at the end, that really got me. But yeah, so definitely check that out. We did a theatrical performance of it with a really great cast as well in New York 2 years ago. So yeah, but yeah, I like to read, but I don't think I want to ever read one of my own books. It's too much of a gift to have somebody else give it voice. Yeah. Awesome.
Okay.
Jesse gets to choose.
Jesse is choosing over. How do you think the lion would respond to the music and this piece about its adventures?
Oh, that's amazing. Thank you for that question. I've written a few little things in the voice of Hecate since, so I think there's this. It's forming, for me. But I think that I think that Hecate experiences music somewhat. But I think that's what's exciting is I didn't really write about music that much in this book. There's a lot about sonic. There's so much sonics, the music of the world around, right? But I would love to. I guess the answer is I would love to write a little bit of Hecate experiencing music, of experiencing this string composition and the voice and everything, and sort of and accessing those feelings. I mean, it would be what I experienced, which I just did, and it was a true gift and amazing. So. Maybe to process it, I'll write a little piece.
I think Hecate seems like a very empathetic cat. I think.
Yeah, oh yeah.
It's appreciate all kinds of music, probably.
Although Hecate would be a little bit frustrated by the pseudo disclaimer and maybe have already attacked you for that.
Right. Probably right. I got to work on that.
All right. Awesome. I would love to sign books if anyone wants a book. We have some over there. Come meet me. Come get your book signed. And it'll be my pleasure to chat with you a little more. Thank you, Jesse. Thank you, Denver Public Library. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, thanks.
Good stuff.
I heard you this one. I don't think I'm